back again with Let's Talk About It with Xavier Fox, and I get to be Xavier Fox in this thing. That's always a fun thing to do. So, as you all know, I love conversations, and that's what my show is about. And I have had many great conversations, and definitely many great conversations and debates with this young man next to me, who is one of my guest hosts. This is Inyatu Marvel.
Hey,
Welcome
everybody.
to the show again.
Thank you so much. I love being on Let's Talk About It with Xavier Fox. Happy Saturday, everybody. I am Yatu Marvelous, a.k.a. Mr.
Did you say marvelous?
And Yatu Marvelous. Please understand.
I don't know when that started.
I have to live up to it. That's my TikTok name. Is Yatu Marvelous, a.k.a. Mr. Hitch. I am a dating and relationship consultant. I am also a certified premarital and marriage couples counselor, and also a certified life coach. So I'm doing a little bit of homework out here, but even beyond the scope of that, as I've shared before, I'm 50 years old, and so I have 30 years of adult dating experience. And yeah, I did the numbers, and I'm like at about 1,000 first dates over the course of that 30 years. And so that has given me lots of experience and perspective on what to do, what not to do, how to make it terribly go wrong, and some tips on how to make it go right.
I wonder how many first dates I've had. Have you ever had more than one first date in one day?
Maybe a couple of times I did brunch and then did dinner or something with somebody else later. I like to go out. I used to like to go out. This was in my younger years.
I was just
been on 1,000
asking
dates
so I
recently.
wouldn't feel like it was only me. But okay, you did it too.
Nothing wrong with that. I don't think. I mean, I don't know what the understanding is in between two people. But when I meet somebody,
What's the
new,
first date?
right? That's what I was about to say. I'm like, when I meet somebody new, I assume that they, if I like them, they must be attractive. And so I would.
That's what I figured. So it's got to be other people around.
Other people like them too. So
It's amazing when you run into people. So, and I'm gonna let you get back to your topic. I know
no worries.
but there's a lady on. She has this show. I can't remember the show. It ends with ministry, but they
Okay.
talk about relationships.
Okay.
And so she is, I think she said 48, and she's never been married.
Mm-hmm.
So all she does is date.
Okay.
And it seems to me that she is of the opinion that when a guy shows up, because she said he can't date more than just me. It's got to just be me. And they're like, so when you meet a guy, you expect it to just be. She's like, yeah, he should know what he's looking for. And I was thinking to myself, that could be why you're 48 and you ain't never been married. Everybody coming, we all dating.
Believe it or not, I seen it all the time. I've seen posts like that all the time from women where it's like you got to be into me right from the giddy up, and if you're interested in somebody else, then you must not really be interested in me.
How do you know if you I don't even know that I'm interested in you. I was attracted enough.
Ever since the invention of microwaves, everybody's lost their minds. That start 30 seconds button, they just applying it all over the place in real life and not just to heating up.
That is so crazy
their
to
food.
me.
And so yeah, there's a funny meme that goes around. It's like I can't date. Like a man has to be in love with me immediately.
Yeah, it sounds like that, but that happens on the opposite side as well. They don't expect you to be. You are from the minute they eyes lay on you, you are now theirs. You don't even have time to go tell nobody that you all theirs. If you go tell somebody, it's a problem because you shouldn't have had nobody to tell.
I remember back in the day meeting a woman, and she's like, "Well, so you dating?" And I was like, "Yeah, God didn't come tell me 2 weeks ago that in 2 weeks you're gonna meet this incredible woman and you're not gonna want to date
Exactly.
anybody else." So I didn't know. So I was moseying along like a single person, single dating, and like I used to love to say, single dating and unsupervised. At that time, definitely not at this time. And so today we're gonna give you guys some dating tips, right? For those who don't know, I've been in a relationship a little while right now with somebody who I have a 30-year friendship with prior. And so she's always telling me, and y'all too, get back to doing Hitch more. I want to share you with the world. We talk about things. And she's like, my friends need to hear this. People need to hear this. And so I'm a little bit more inspired to share. At first, I was like, should I, jump back into the fray or just enjoy what I have and stay out of the way? Because being hitched in the past has caused a little turbulence in some of my past relationships. So I was concerned. But I'm just seeing there's so many. I think there are some really good guys out there that I know that really want to find their person. And I think there's some really great women out there that I know as well that really want to find their person. And so it's like, what's the disconnect, right? And so unfortunately, being a great person doesn't always make you great at dating, doesn't always make you great at relationships, and even being great doesn't make us perfect, no matter how great you are. And so,
or compatible.
Yeah, or compatible. I want people to have the result they want. If they want love to come into their lives and have an amazing romantic experience, I want that for them. If they truly want to be single for the rest of their lives, I want that for them.
Absolutely want that for them. That's
so,
what they want. Yes.
I just love to share information. As I always say, I'm not an expert. I'm a master student. And I just love to share my notes and my clip notes. And some of the tests I took already failed to pass. I can give you guys the answers. Right? So you can pass like I used to do back in college. And so the first dating tip with Hitch is maintain a positive overall attitude. And so, unfortunately, people are so traumatized and so frustrated with previous romantic experiences that they find it difficult to give a new experience a blank canvas and a positive chance. That people are skeptical, they are pessimistic going into dates, and that is a surefire way, in my humble opinion, to ruin things. And so,
and it's a good way to know.
You're
not ready.
You're not. Again, people feel like they're ready. Right, but they're not prepared. Unfortunately, it's not. There's a differentiation there, and so dating is a process of trial and error. Right, you're getting to know other people. You're getting to know your needs, wants, likes, and dislikes. Even at this tender age of 50 years old, I've evolved. So it's not like this. It's been the same.
Did he say tender?
It's tender age of 50 years old. It hasn't been the same for the last 30 years of my adult dating life, and so that changes. Some dates will be very enjoyable. Others, not so much. But maintain a positive.
Have you been on a? So, what's the worst date you've been on that you remember?
The worst date that I've been on that I remember. I got a handful of those. I recall having all of this conversation with a woman, her sending me all of these pictures, and the conversation was flowing and it was good. And then we decided to go out on a date, and I got to the restaurant and she was running a little late. And then she texted me saying she was like sitting in the parking lot trying to get herself together. And I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, she's trying to build up her courage. Huh? I'm like, that's what I said, huh? Right? And so she comes in, and there's been some changes since all the modeling pictures that she had sent me prior. Okay. There have been some significant weight gain. Significant weight gain. And so she finally came into the restaurant, and she's like peering back and forth, like she's, concerned for her safety. I'm literally like, are you okay? Like, did something bad happen on the way here? And she's like, no, like, this is just how I am. And she's like, I'm on this diet. I'm not going to drink. I'm only going to eat a salad, which I don't have no problem with that. I love salads too. But then that changed. She was drinking and ordering appetizing food, which I don't mind because I love to eat too. But I was just noticing that, who she was telling me she was, or maybe even who she thought she was, and what I was experiencing just was not the same thing. And so, like I said, the conversation, not in person, had been flowing. In person, she was all bottled up and seemed to be anxious and pretty much stressed out. And I'm like, are you okay? Do you want to try another day? Do you want me to let this go? And she's like, no. After about 9 or 10 dates, I'll warm up.
Damn. Okay. It's funny that your date that was one. I had one of those catfish situations too. I think I told you this story though. He had posted his cousin's fit, and our conversation was great. I was enjoying my conversation with that dude I was attracted to.
Right.
And so when it all boiled down and we were face to face, and he definitely wasn't that dude.
Right.
He said, but you like me. You like the person I am. Mm. And I'm like, but there's another level to what makes it a relationship, an intimate relationship. And that has something to do with attraction. So he's like, you're not attracted to the person I am? I said, that means we can be friends.
Right.
I could be friends. I have some great guy friends, but that don't mean that physically I can't wait to jump their bones.
Right.
Because I can wait.
So ironically, because it actually was her, there was just some weight gain. She had a very pretty face, or whatever the case may be. So I did not just, I didn't just feel instantly unattracted to her in that moment, but just the awkwardness and the lack of conversation, and her telling me it might take 9 or 10 dates to warm up. I went to the bathroom and had to look in the mirror and talk myself out of just sneaking out of there and leaving her in that restaurant.
And that's my second bad date. The second bad date, I actually did leave somebody in the restaurant because I was and this was at Applebee's way back in the day, right? And I ordered whatever the pasta dish was. And he told me, you know what he told me? He said, you know what side of the menu that is, right?
Oh. Ninja.
Okay. All right, that's good.
Ninja. Yeah, but I've had some bad days. I went to the movies with a woman, and before the trailers were over, I'm like, again, in the bathroom, y'all two do not just leave this woman sitting here in this movie theater, but I really wanted to just leave her sitting in the movie theater. And so, yeah, you got to have a good attitude. When you house shopping or apartment shopping or where it is you're dwelling, you don't find the perfect place the first time. There's some trial and error. You go test drive cars.
Yep.
Figuring out which one you want. Even if it's the car you want, it might not be the model you want.
The color.
Leather.
You want the
sunroof.
package and stuff.
Right.
Oh, did I say that? That was
the package.
Oh, Lord.
And so, yeah, either your experience will build up your attraction or it'll set the stage for you to move on. But I see too many people that have a terrible attitude towards the opposite sex, terrible attitude towards dating. They're convinced that there's nothing but pee in the dating pool and that all men are alike.
There is a little pee in that dating pool. You know what we need in the dating pool? There's this chemical that you can put in the pool so when somebody pee, the blue streak will follow them, whatever. And we need that in the dating pool so we can see who putting the pee in there.
I don't think the dating pool is easy right now, but I just don't subscribe to the pee because that same thing that one person thinks is pee, somebody else loves.
Well, you don't date men.
I'm not into golden showers, right? But some people are into golden showers.
You don't date men, so you might not understand the pee.
No. There's pee. I mean, there's bad experiences, but I think that's attached to who we are as people and what we prefer. I don't think the guy or the guys that this woman over here thinks is pee, that every woman thinks that
I agree with that.
Pee, that there's some woman on the other side of the city, the other side of the country.
Because good is relative, to who's saying it or who's making that judgment call.
It's all relative.
Because the dude I might think is good,
I've seen women who say they hate a broke dude, and I've seen women who only date broke dudes.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they like doing that?
Absolutely.
Has that been a
I know a
experience?
guy, I had known a guy for 20 years, and if you don't have at least 4 children, he don't want nothing to do with you.
What the hell is that about?
We're going to not make the show about him.
Did you
Right?
ask him though? Like,
Absolutely, 1,000%, but I don't want to dive into what his...
4 kids?
4 kids.
That's a lot of people running around.
Some men don't want a dependent. He wanted dependence.
Oh,
he was into dependence.
Okay.
Right. God
They
bless.
don't claim on their taxes.
Yeah. So men are having bad experiences in the dating pool. Women are having some bad experiences in the dating pool. That's there's no denying that at all. But I also think that has a lot to do with what we attract. It has a lot to do with what we accept, and it also has a lot to do with our perception. So I don't expect every woman I meet to necessarily be the one. I don't think that one woman is going to be the one. So it's like, it's like a scratch off lottery ticket. You don't know if you're going to win or you're going to lose, but hey, have fun scratching the ticket off or whatever it is. So God bless. Number 2.
We only on number 2.
We're only on number 2.
I felt like we had a whole conversation.
We did. We're going to divert a little bit. Number 2 is vet your date before you date. As a general rule, I require 3 to 4 significant and stimulating conversations before I will ask a woman on a date. So there are a lot of women like, you serious about me? Ask me on a date, ask me on a date. I'm like, we haven't had any real conversations yet. I don't know if I would enjoy a date with you yet. And so I don't want to find out the hard way unnecessarily without vetting. And so again, a lot of people aren't good at vetting. Therefore, they're saying that there's pool in the date. I mean, there's pee in the dating pool, but they could have avoided some of that pee, right, for lack of a better word, if they had vetted their date.
And let me talk about that right there. Because what you just said is the total opposite of how I prefer to date.
Okay.
Which neither one of us are wrong. I'm just saying,
Definitely not. These are just
if you
tips,
run
not
into
hard
people,
laws.
because to me, investing a lot of time on the phone,
Right.
that's only that time that I can't get back, I'm only going to give that to somebody I've already deemed worth it, sitting on the phone with them.
Okay.
I would much rather prefer, I don't even need to necessarily I need to have exchange a couple texts back and forth. I'm going to ask the key questions. And then I would like to schedule, I like to schedule a coffee date or a breakfast date at the most. And go there, sit down in front of this person. Because sitting down in front of them, I'm getting two things. One, I know what you look like already. I know that I'm not being catfished and I'm having conversations with somebody that's going to show up and not look like what they look like. Because there are some people where attraction is, but see, I'm busy. So when I'm running around, I don't really have time to be getting ready for no FaceTime.
Okay.
Otherwise you really
Get ready for FaceTime.
right. You want to look present. You want to put your best foot forward, right? And even though I look pretty much the same with or without whatever, but I might have my hair any kind of way. I don't want to do FaceTime because I don't have time to be getting dressed for that.
Okay.
If I'm gonna get dressed, meet me somewhere. Let's go to breakfast. Let's go to have coffee. Any of that stuff. So I see what you look like. You see what I look like, and I'm gonna have a brief conversation with you. Now, after the first date, if you passed all of that, then we could do a second date, which could be like a real date.
Right. Okay.
But until I actually deem that I like you, I'm not sitting on the phone with you having long conversations. I don't want to get to, because I did that before. And what showed up in front of me was not acceptable.
So I love this, right? Because there's different strokes for different folks. People have different experiences. Me, myself, I can't remember a time where I broke the conversation rule and then the first date went good. Like every time it's like, see, this is why you have this rule. Because if you had talked to this lady prior to going out with her, you would have found out in advance what you had to find out, unfortunately, the hard way. And as men, so those women where I had the bad dates, I didn't leave them there because I was concerned about the aftermath and the fallout of my reputation that would occur afterwards. And so men have to be careful, right? Because if you take a woman out on a bad date, a lot of times the next day there'll be a post about it, not necessarily tagging you, but this F-boy this and that, and maybe even showing some redacted screenshots and all of these things. And so even though I was literally hating these dates with these women, I felt compelled to still be kind and still just suffer through the dates.
So you're saying even after vetting, you've still been on bad dates?
No, I didn't say that. I'm saying the people that I didn't date. Every once in a while, I've broken my rule.
No, when we started.
Oh, yeah. So that first one, absolutely. Yeah, so that, but much rarer the time. But every time I don't have the conversations, it goes bad. Every
So
time.
that handful of bad dates is probably because you didn't have the conversations first?
Because I didn't have the conversations first.
Okay.
I think of two where I did have the conversation first, and it's still.
And so when you meet somebody that just has a different vetting process like mine, so if we met, which we met a long time ago, so this is totally hypothetical, right?
God bless.
So if we met, and you want to now have these conversations with me, but we met in person. So are you talking about people you meet online?
Yeah, people I meet
did meet you
online. So
online, but I
sometimes
met
you
you
can
in
meet somebody in person and the vibe is cool, and
Yes.
I'm a spontaneous person.
So
my
then that
energy
part is
such.
cool.
That part is cool because you're
You
you're
can
getting
feel
a
that
sense.
energy.
Absolutely.
That's what I need.
Absolutely. Okay.
Because I'm scared of the phone. I did that and Mr. Catfish showed up.
Mr. Cat, that is a terrible. I just feel so sorry for people who think. How could you think that you could send a picture of your cousin and that it's still gonna work out in the end.
And then
even
it
if
was
you were
his
more
cousin.
handsome than your cousin,
His cousin
you were
was
a
younger.
liar.
His cousin
Oh.
was like 6'2" with pretty curly hair, you know, all of that. This dude was maybe 5'9" at most.
Oh no.
Round. His cousin was total opposite of him.
So what do you think?
And he was older.
Would you have proceeded if he was more handsome than his cousin? He was more attractive to you than his cousin. Would the lie have still stricken him from the record or stricken him from the running? Or if he had been more
So
attractive,
it would depend on whether I knew it was a lie. It would depend on if he had actually been along the same lines of his cousin. I may not have even known. I may have said, you've probably heard this before. I've heard this before too. You look better in person.
Mm-hmm.
I would have just went with that because I'm like, oh, well, his
Okay.
picture was good,
Okay.
but this right in front of me is even better. So you look better in person. But if you show up and you are nowhere in that range of, if it wasn't him, if I could tell it wasn't him, I'd be like, who was that a picture of? Then I probably, because I have trust issues anyway.
Right.
And so then I probably would have had some trust issues because, like, if you lying, once you lie, once I know you'll lie to me, it's kind of a wrap after that anyway.
And that's what I'm thinking. It's like you lied right out the gate.
Right out the
nothing
gate.
at stake. This is the easiest time.
You just a liar.
Honestly, yeah.
Liars lie. They'll lie for whatever reason.
10 years ago, a friend from Atlanta called me like, "Hey, Nyatu, there's some dude using your pictures for a dating profile saying he's from Dallas, Texas."
Dang.
And I'm like, man, that has to be just. What do you I guess they're hoping maybe they can convince the woman to send some news before they find out, or that they're going to fall in love or something before they find out. But I just cannot imagine using an old picture, much less using somebody else's picture. So that is wild, creepy behavior. Run.
Right.
Right.
Run.
Don't walk. Run to the nearest exit if you show up on a date and the person has used someone else's pictures to reel you in.
That's sad.
It's super sad. So quickly, again, it's only 5, so we're going to run through this fast. Number 3 is be intentional about the energy you bring to the date. Wear something appealing that pops.
Wear something appealing that pops.
Yeah.
So is this going for men and women? Or?
It goes for men and women. And when I mean pop, hopefully it pops for you, right? Because they say when you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you do good. So go in the closet and find one of those outfits that makes you feel like $1 million, so that is the energy that you bring to the date.
Because a man with a little style and swag is a good thing.
You know what I mean?
You show up all looking good and smelling good, you be like, ooh.
God bless. If I go on a date with you, I was in the shower right before I left the house. I love to be fresh out of the shower. I love to smell. I want my beard to smell good. I want my cologne combination to smell good. My hair to smell good. My breath to smell good. Everything. The nose, the eyes, the tongue scraper, everything as good as I can make it going on that first date. And again, that's about me feeling great. So I highly suggest that people come up with pre-date routines to help them get themselves in a good mood so they're showing up as the best version of themselves whenever they go out on a date. So it might be a conversation with your friend that pumps you up. Girl, you're so fine. You about to slay this dude, about to be in love with you. You about to be ready to propose to you at the end of the day. Person who gasses you up, or that song, that music that gets you pumped up for your date. But you definitely want to come to your dates with good
I like to play my theme song.
energy. What's your theme song?
My theme song. You a little old school.
Yes, I
There
am.
was this group called Next. They had this song
Next.
called Butter Love.
Butter love. See, you gotta have that playlist, man. A playlist. Let me tell you, a cold playlist is a game changer for your life, for dating, for sex, for everything. You got the right playlist.
Is, yep.
When I tell you, it has done half the work for you.
Mm-hmm.
God bless. People need to understand. This is one of my favorite quotes from the movie Hitch. That 60% of human communication is nonverbal. Body language. So when your energy is not where it needs to be, people can sense it. They might not be vocal about it. They may not voice it. They may not even be able to put their finger on it. But you can be cheesing and smiling, but the energy underneath is something else, and people will not be fooled. Another 30% is your tone. People come on first dates angry they haven't even had an interaction with this person, but they angry about other stuff, and so they being snappy and got a weird tone already. I've seen people really mistreat very kind wait staff.
Yeah.
Red flag. Bring some good energy to the situation, because half of what you're saying ain't coming out of your mouth. So you want to show up positive energetically, as well as the words that are coming out of your mouth.
And people have to keep in mind that one saying, I can't remember where I first heard this, but he said, what's in you is what comes out. So if you have people who are observant, right? Mm-hmm. So we're listening, and if you angry at everybody and everything is just a problem and complaining, we know that's in you, and that comes with you wherever you go. So I'm gonna let you go a different way, because I don't want all of that kind of stuff. So that is a very good one.
My favorite saying is, wherever you are, there you are.
With all your anger and everything is a problem. I don't need all of that.
Your baggage.
Oh God.
No.
Yes, please take that elsewhere.
Thank you. Do not show up to a date with an adversarial attitude. That is a bloody red flag. So number 4 is collect, don't project. And unfortunately, so many people go into the dating space feeling like they know what they want, they know what they're looking for, and unfortunately, they project that onto a new person as opposed to just getting to know that new person. So it's great to know what you want. It's great to have standards. It's great to have preferences, but it's a terrible mistake to project that onto the other person. Find out who they are. If they're for you, you'll find that out. If they're not, you'll find that out. But many times when people project what they're looking for, people either consciously and or unconsciously begin to conform. And then that's not really them. And then later down the line, you're like, oh, I didn't know this person, or, they change, when really, people want to be liked. And so sometimes unconsciously, they're not even trying to fool you. They conform to what you're projecting onto them. And so again, these might be some of the reasons why there's pee in the dating pool. And
so if you are projecting, I believe these are some of the words you will use. Well, you're going to need to be this, that, and the other. Or you're going to have to do this, that, or the if you're going to be with me. Or that's going to have to change if you want to be with me.
I love a man who does this. I love a man who does that. Well, how are you going to know if he's a man that does that if you told him?
Right.
Anything. Right? See if he brings the flowers that you love.
Exactly.
See if he opens the doors for you. Because if you're telling him, you're just giving, or her, you're giving them the tools to fool you.
Let people be who they are, and then you just determine whether that's who you want to be with. Otherwise, you keep moving. Dating can be fun. You get to meet.
Dates are for enjoyment and collecting data to be able to make informed decisions and choices moving forward. We often project who we want the other person to be rather than learning who they actually are. Ask open-ended questions, right? So instead of, do you want to get married, right? What are the things that you want to accomplish or that you don't have in your life right now that in the next few years would be really important for you to have in your life? And if a partner, your soulmate, a husband, a wife, or one of those things isn't something that they bring up, a healthy relationship, a great connection, if that's not on their list of things that they want to happen over the next few years, now you know. But if you're saying, do you want to get married, that tingle goes, that spidey sense goes off. He's like, oh yeah, the right woman. When really prior to that he may have been thinking, hell no. Or the same thing with women, because there are some women who have no desire to get married or be in a relationship either. Narcissists and love bombers just want to learn you to burn you. So most times you can learn a lot more from the type of questions another person asks you than you can from the answers to the questions that you're giving them. So I just made a post about this yesterday, that narcissists project the stuff they got going on onto the other person. And so if you're paying attention instead of projecting, you can really learn a lot and save yourself a lot of time, and in a lot of cases heartbreak and pain, just by paying attention.
Just had this conversation on the radio show I was doing in Milwaukee, and we were talking in between the commercial, and somehow the guy said, we were having a conversation on another show about the question, what do you bring to the table? So which one asked that question, the narcissist or the projector? And what So I ask every man this because to me that's the most open-ended question. Like I don't know what you even really asking me, so I'm always confused.
Right.
I've only been asked it about 2 times, and I'm like, what do you mean? Which is probably the wrong answer, but I don't know what you mean. I've lived quite a life. Right. So what are you asking me? So what are men asking, and who asked that question, the narcissist or the projector?
The weirdos. No, I'm playing, but I'm not playing. That is, to me, when I hear about people asking that question, that's an indicator to me of some trauma and maybe even some bitterness, and it's definitely an adversarial stance. You know what I mean? Like we both on opposite sides, like we negotiating against each other in this situation. Like, you know, like we're teams about to compete against each other. When you ask a person what it is that they bring to the table, first of all, how are they supposed to answer that? What proverbial table are you talking about? Are you talking about the financial table? Are you talking about the emotional intelligence table? Are you talking about the resume table, the career table? What table?
What table
are you even talking about? And so to me, that's a person trying to throw the other person off a little bit. Like you want them to give you some spill that proves themselves.
Right. That's not like.
And so yeah, I'm way back in the day, the movie Deep Cover. The cop asked him something, and he was like, only the ninja would even think about answering that question, right? And so yeah, if a woman goes out on a date with me and says, so okay, so what do you bring to the table? That's most definitely and most likely the last date, because that is just a weirdo adversarial.
I feel so much better. Question. I have been vindicated because if a guy, I've had it asked twice, and I never went on another date with those 2 guys because I don't even know how to answer that, and I felt like it was intrusive, like they wanted me to give information that they didn't have any reason to have yet. Like I needed to prove up front that I was worthy of them. I haven't decided that you're worthy of me yet. So I don't understand why this question is here.
Yeah, I kind of look at it like a test just to see where your self-esteem level is. Because if you start, you know, rolling things off your tongue, trying to impress them and prove what you bring to the table, whatever, they know they got you.
Oh, yeah. No.
Right? They'll have you jumping through hoops for the rest of the experience.
That won't happen. I don't do that. Remember, I had to
do it. Xavier always makes it clear. Daddies, uncles, you got them positive males in your life.
Even if they're not always positive, but you learn that even good people sometimes be doing some stuff.
Don't they?
So, you know, I have to know.
Yeah, in general, I think I'm a good person, but certainly in the 50 years of my life, I've been a tyrant.
He done did some stuff.
At times, I definitely have done some stuff.
It's some woman sitting there like,
no
yes, he did. He did that.
I can admit it. There were times where I was the worst.
Somebody sitting there talking about, preach.
That's what I say. I made all the mistakes. So
you made all the mistakes.
Almost everyone, except for asking women what they bring to the table.
Okay.
I never made that mistakes, but I'm sure some things that were even much more egregious. So I said there were 5 tips. There's actually 6, so I got to really hurry up. Number 5 is be true to yourself. Your boundaries are your best friend. Don't betray them or yourself. Pay attention to your energy and listen to your instincts. Don't participate or allow anything that makes you feel uneasy, including weirdo questions and requests. Do not people please. Like for the gentlemen out there, if you're having to jump through hoops to make the woman like you, she doesn't actually like you. She will like you jumping through hoops, and you will have to continue to jump through hoops repeatedly for the rest of y'all lives together in order to maintain her attention. And you still might not keep it once she meets somebody she actually likes and doesn't care about jumping through the hoops. Do not people please to your own detriment. Most people's deepest desire is to be loved and appreciated for who we really are. But we are oftentimes scared to show who we really are. So we're being closed off and or we're pretending to people please. And unfortunately, that's a recipe for disaster. What is for you won't pass you by. So I don't care what your station is in life. There's something and somebody for you. So be true to that so that you actually attract and choose what is good for the real you. Else you'll be attracting something that's good for the fake
And
version of
people
you, and it won't
pleasing.
work out.
You don't need to please everybody. You don't have to please everybody. And the people that you do please, that'll happen naturally. So it'll be genuine. It'll be organic. It'll be much. It has longer longevity. Ain't that the word?
Easy.
Longevity. It's
Easy.
easy to flow. But if I gotta become a 25-year-old
Right.
in order, I'm not gonna do that anyway. Like 25. Do you remember 25?
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Ooh, my 25th birthday. Lord have mercy.
Those are some good times. Though.
Those are good memories. But I can't say if I knew then what I know now. It might be some things I would not do if I knew better. But 25 is a good year.
God bless. And so finally, number 6 is.
I thought that was number 6.
No, that was number 5.
I think we on number 12. Ain't we?
No, we on number 6. We always drift off further into the conversation, share some relatable stories and our experiences, and so it can seem that way. Number 6 is look under your own hood and give yourself a diagnostic evaluation after every date.
Ooh, after every date?
After every date, check in with yourself. See, people think that dating is all about learning something about the other person, but you're supposed to be gathering data on yourself too, right? And so check in with yourself with a few important questions. After the date, did you feel happy and uplifted? Or was your energy lower than when it started? Was it easy to be your best self on that date? Or was, the conversation forced, and was it awkward? Did you feel seen and heard on the date? Were they just only talking about themselves and had zero
I hate them
interest in you? Do you feel more attracted to the person after having gone out on a date with them?
Yep, that's a big one right there. And that whole if they talk continually, and I have been on a few dates like that, they just talk continually about their job or their exes.
Ugh.
And it just goes on and on and on. And you're sitting there. So I talk to myself. Best conversation I have sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But I talk to myself. Sometimes I talk to myself while people are talking to me.
Right.
Because I'm thinking in my head, like, you can't hear it, but I'm thinking in my head out loud, like, if he really saying that, do he really think I believe this shit? Like, okay, you just told me X, Y, Z, and now this ABC part can't it can't work together. So one of these is a lie. So this dude is really sitting here just lying to me in my face. I be sitting there having that conversation while they talking on and on and on and on. Because the only time you get to talk is to yourself, because you can't talk to them.
You really do have to check in with yourself, because sometimes your mind will tell you lies. Every dumb decision that anybody has ever made, our minds approved of it for us to do it, right? So your mind don't always give you, the best advice or the best feedback. You have to really be in tune with yourself. And so I've seen situations where a guy, he went out with what he thought was the finest woman he had ever been out with. So he like, that's up, that's good, this is great. But you went on a date with her and she made you feel less than and lower and all of these things, but you still is like, her job, her career, and where she lived, and all of these things that you think should be fantastic and give you good feelings and good vibes, but your experience made you feel bad. When I look at, Diddy and Cassie, he's rich. He can make people's music's career. He's executive produced and produced some great albums and some music careers. And so you thinking about those things, but
yes,
right, he's abusing you and treating you like a slave and never blowing you up. And obviously for a period of time, she had trouble juxtaposing that parallel of those two things. It's like, wow, I get the chance to date Diddy, or I get the chance to date J-Lo, or I get the chance to date whoever this person is that is so impressive to you. But are you checking in with you and how that's making you feel? And so that is super duper important. I think that is like the strongest indicator of compatibility is how it makes you feel in the end. Does it curate the best version of you, or is it bringing out the worst version of you? Is it bringing out great feelings or bad feelings? So you definitely have to check in with yourself and do a deep dive check, not just that surface level check.
Okay. Well, I forgot to go live before this recording. So are we, do we have any comments over here? Any questions from the peanut gallery out there?
We
This
want
has
to call
been.
it the Great Fan Base and not the Peanut Gallery.
Oh, did I say that out loud?
I did say that. Sometimes it is the Peanut.
So, any comments from the Peanut Gallery? I want to thank you for this whole season. The glass is empty. Can you get his glass something for his glass so he can have a little toast?
I don't know how to sip, y'all. I'm a drinker.
To the
drink
left.
that thing.
Yeah, you drank that thing. Walked in.
I got you in here for like 45 minutes. No, just champagne. I'm trying to stay away from sugar. I've been wilding all summer. I went to the doctor last week. My sugar was a little high. My cholesterol was a little high. I had a rule where I was only eating fried food like once a month, only eat pizza once a month. You know, I do what I want to do, but within reason. But I got in a relationship, and now it's not just when I want to drink or just when I want to go out to eat or just when I want pizzas when she wants it too. So I am in the process of reeling it all back in.
Until next season.
February
February 1st, we'll be back live now. Don't get it twisted. We will still be doing shows. We still have lots of new shows in storage. How about that?
Right,
So there will still be plenty of new shows coming out. Make sure that you guys stay tuned. We just won't be live on Saturdays, okay? We just won't be live on Saturdays, but you can still check out all the shows. You can go to the website, XavierFox.com. You can go to our Instagram, XFox Entertainment, and you could go to Facebook, Xavier Fox Media and Events, and you can see all of the shows. You got anything coming up while we're on hiatus?
I got tons of things going on, but I won't even delve into that. I would just say to everybody out there, may all of your pain be champagne moving forward.
Ain't that cute?
Into the end of this year and the new year. Cheers.